Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. Composed from the Russian Tchaikovsky, celebrating the defeat of Napoleon. From the Russians' point of view. I guess he's capturing the loss of the soldiers. Enough of that. So, what I'm getting at is we need to recognize that everything is orchestrated. The oligarchs have their music, so to speak. All the world is a stage, all the world is an orchestra. However you want to look at it. You know, and lately they've been playing a very ominous tune. Starting years perhaps ago with things like, you know, the ominous undertones were coming through in the dark, the heavy instruments were playing. The rumblings of the drums, the kettle drums, with things like climate, we're destroying the climate. And then these dirty Europeans needed to be put in their place for this, along with then from another more ominous tunes were coming along and doing BLM. And then it fades out, and then there's this new ominous tune on the horizon, coronavirus. And it's dark, and you can hear the clashing of the cymbals. And so on it goes, and they fade this in and they fade it out. And then they get everything together in a crescendo, as they have done, right up till the insanity that's gone on with, you know, these riots in America, where it was basically the reverse Kristallnacht, you know, which the Jews always love to moan about. That don't seem to have a problem when it happens to ordinary business people in the States. I think it was colossal, so not just minimal. And they had everything going at one point in a complete lockdown and mask wearing and having your business destroyed by government and having it destroyed by rioters. This was for all the world to see. It's quite incredible. You've got to recognize the orchestrated aspect of this. It's not just that happens. They are in collaboration at the highest level, the most incredible level you could ever imagine. And we have started playing a little bit of our own music. There's been the anti-lockdown protests. There's been Brexit votes, Trump votes, bringing things into office that we hoped would change things. And of late, more importantly, our anti-lockdown protests. And there's all these different groups all over the country, and they're playing these little different tunes, but it's a cacophony. We're not able to bring ourselves to a crescendo, which is why you need a conductor. And we have to start thinking in this sense. And we have a lot of movements against government. We have a lot of these instruments, right from pro-life activists, Christian groups, nationalists, anti-vaxxers, anti-lockdowners, and we need a crescendo at this point. Essentially, it's all anti-government. This is our rulership. And when I say government, I mean also the shadow aspect of that, the monetary aspect of that. So I'm just bringing this point forward, looking at the various events, all over the world where they've got these little groups. They are mounting up a protest. There was a group called WHAM in Cape Town. There's, various groups against the lockdown and the masks. And they kind of splintered, but, which is an advantage as well, because there's no single place where they can bring together, where they can take down your resistance. There's not. It's a pain in the ass for government. And it's good that they're operating independently. But I would say that we need a somewhat conducted effort on all fronts, and some things to operate in parallel, not in opposition. For example, a type of security for the Western Cape. You speak of secession is a very viable opportunity, but it's going to need physical security protection to dissuade what the government's likely to do. You can't go to the mafia and say, we got these terms and conditions, and they got a bunch of thugs sitting there, and they just turn around and beat you up. Because our rulership is mafia. It is 100% good fellas, beat you, stab you to death, shoot you until the gun goes click. And they will not be a pushover. But you need these things to grow in parallel. So many things, so many groups. There's people that are growing their own food in the city. That's a fantastic way to, with someone like that, if they destroy the economy, you could even barter with them. It gives you an aspect of survival. But we need somewhat to understand somewhat the element of orchestrated in a conductor and how that gets done, and actually implementing it. Because what is our music going to be? They're playing their music. Honestly, the overall pictures, it's like Peter and the Wolf. The little European goyim are dancing around like Peter, the string instrument, a little happy child dancing around in the woods. There's ominous things happening, and the wolf is after you. So what is our orchestra going to be? Personally, I'd like it to be the 1812 Overture. I don't know who's going to be playing the 105 howitzer, but we're going to need that character, that instrument. And who's playing the 9mm? Who's playing the 30 cal, the 50 cal? There's various aspects to everything that's been done. Politically, religion-wise, we need an orchestrated, conducted effort. And there's a lot of people who should be on the same page, getting rid of this bloody government. Stop being dissuaded by the other technicalities that will arise later. Because right now there's a much bigger issue, namely the lockdown and the masks and this forced vaccine program, which in principle is just diabolical. I'm not even going to go into the health aspect of it, because maybe it's just a bloody vitamin B shot. I very much doubt it, but it's irrelevant to the point, as a lot of things are. It's like the coronavirus. Was it made by China? Or is it natural? Or is it even a thing? It's irrelevant. We don't want government telling us where we can go and how and to breathe. And there's loads of groups out there. We're lacking coordination, folks, and we're lacking a conductor. And it's instrumental in the approach and how we want this orchestra to play out. Ultimately, it's God's orchestra, but we have to start playing our instruments. And to start playing with resonance, in tune, in harmony. There's lots of instruments out there. I recommend, start doing more, much more than what we say. Do 10 times what we say. At the moment, we're doing 100 times what we do. We're saying 100 times what we do. We're learning lots of stuff. We're noticing lots of stuff. We're getting, we've got the pieces of the puzzle together. We've got it now. We've got the people and we've got the pieces of the puzzle. We've got a lot more than what we think we have. Need a conductor. I'm going to end the stream on that note, and let's make this the 1812 Overture of our success rather than Peter and the Wolf. Catch you later.